us for the engagement webinar. If you didn't mean to join this one, stay tuned anyways, and you'll get engaged. And yeah, we have some exciting things today from the engagement committee. So first off, I'm just going to take you through the website. I'll turn it over to Chris, who's going to go through some of the awesome committees that we have at NAYGN, and then over to Elizabeth, that is going to focus on the specifics of what we have for the engagement committee. The meeting notice says an hour. We're going to take much less of your time just to make you guys extra happy on this beautiful Thursday. So you can see behind me these palm trees. Yeah, so I'm going to share my content right now, and we will walk through this new NAYGN website. So if you haven't seen this before, I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to take you through a couple things. And really the point of this today is if you're making presentations, if you're looking to engage others, there's a lot of great tools already out there. And if you're just a member, there's a lot of ways to get involved. So the website itself, it's been energized, it's been revamped, trying to make it easier to use. And that was one of the feedback that we had from audits, was we need to make it one-click shop, so more things accessible and easier to get places. So right off the bat, you see our logo, and it has our vision statement and how to become a member. So if you're not a member, that's number one. Click this, you'll start to get our emails. I won't talk too much about these cornerstones. We'll be talking about that next. As you can see, we are on social media, so we do have a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, Twitter, lots of ways to get involved there. And we also now have a featured news section, so it updates, so every time that email blast comes out, if you're not subscribed, you can look at it there and read the full excerpt. We also have upcoming events, so we will try and keep this up to date. This is a brand new feature that we never had before. So you can see right here, the drawing contest is coming up. So just a reminder for anyone that's coming, you can see those important updates. There's also now a get involved section. So we have almost like a job board, a bunch of openings. So you can go through, see what's there. And the big ones right now, our board of directors election is going on. So you can see all those there. And again, just want to try and put some different pictures in there just to highlight some of the past conferences, some of the members that have been involved. And we have been around since 1999, so you can take that right through the About Us section. Making an impact, again, our metrics are always live, so that's so important to see the impact we do every year. So that takes you to the metrics page. And then these are our major initiatives. So it was always hard to find on the old websites, you know, the children's books, the career reports, the things that people kept wanting to see. So we put them right on our homepage just to make it really easy. And there's past news as well. Diversity and inclusion is something that we will talk about at the committees, but we had a video put together. So again, this homepage is really trying to draw everything as you scroll through. And this is a chapter map, so broken down into regions. We get so many questions. Is there a chapter in my area? Are there closer ones? And just like Google Maps, you can zoom in, you can scroll around. They're color coded by regions, so you can see what's near you. We update that as well. And then there is our board of directors. And just a portion of them, the president, vice president, past president, and all of them if you click there. We do have testimonials now as well. We're trying to become more of an organized organization and show all the presence and awesome stuff you guys have. So if you have testimonials, if you want to be featured here, give us a shout. We'll throw you up there. And yeah, we really want to make it a membership experience. And really, we tried to draw what the benefits of being a member versus a non-member were. So just, especially it's free, it's really hard not to. Highlighting our sponsors. And yeah, you can leave us a message at the bottom. Just walk through a couple other spots as well. So people always ask, you know, what is NAYGN about? What's the mission statement? What's the vision? And that's really all in the strategic plan. So we update this every year, really says what the goals of the core are. We are a nonprofit, so 501c6, and really just all of the stuff you need to talk about if you're giving a presentation. It's right here, how to get involved, with the impact we're having. Again, some of this stuff was on the homepage, but just more details are in this About Us section. I won't talk about the committee section because we'll be going through that in a second. But again, for chapters, and some of these menu items only appear if you're logged in as a member. So if your screen looks different, make sure you go to the Member Center and you log in because some of this won't be available. So again, the chapter map, and then it's broken down into the different regions, and each region has its own page. We're going to try and keep that up to date. So for regional conferences in the past, and specifics for the region lead, they can update through their specific pages there. And again, starting a chapter, if you're starting a chapter, revamping a chapter, interested, know people, please direct them to this. We get asked this question all the time, how do I start a chapter? What do I need to do? And this one really starts to walk you through it, developing a business case, getting funding, who to contact, what we can update on the website. We've gone through this a number of times, especially the last couple of years. So it's broken down step by step. And again, if things don't make sense, if they don't look right, let us know. This is a live website. The events, like I said, general events, members only, some more details there. And then really it's all about the member center. So the member center, again, we tried to put all the documents, all the resources you'll need in the resource library. And they're broken down into organizational chapters, public information, and professional development. So again, our strat plans, our bylaws, our branding manual. So if you're thinking about a chapter, making your own logo, there are specific templates. If you're ordering swag, the branding manual can tell you the color scheme, the logos to use. We also have annual and quarterly reports. So if you're making a presentation to your board of directors, you're making a presentation to your sponsor, it says our end of year reports, what we've done collectively as an organization. Templates, templates, templates. We have the PowerPoint presentations. We have letters if you're sending it to politicians. We have our career reports. So again, these things were all scattered in the past. Really wanted to try and just drive things all together. And there you see the different logos we have. And then chapter resources. So these are more for chapter leads and chapter leadership. So if you're going to a conference and you want to have brochures, what is NAYGN, who we are, how to start a chapter, how to sponsor. We have these brochures on the website and we keep them up to date. If you're a new leader, we have LCL 101. It's a video we did. If you're advocating, we have a starter kit. We have all of these resources and just a plethora of them in public information. I'll let Amanda Lang talk to that in a little bit. But so many presentations and useful links to other courses, to other presentations, postcard push day, science week, drawing contest. So again, you have to be a member to see this, and it's in the resource library. We also have our chapter metrics, and you can also find a member. So if you're curious if someone else from your company is a member, you can search by company, you can search by chapter, you can search by name, position, core position, and you can actually get in contact with people through this. Some new features we also added were videos. So we have videos now on the NAYGN website directly. We also have a take action, and I don't want to steal Amanda's thunder too much because I'm sure she's going to draw on this. But again, this is a way to get directly involved in our website that we never had before to make a difference in the nuclear sector. And some testimonials and shop. So if you're looking for getting NAYGN branded stuff, shop takes you right to Cafe Press, but there's no requirement to use Cafe Press. You can use other sites if you want. So with that, I hope that was a quick kind of overview of the website, and I will turn it over to Chris for an overview of committees.
Appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen here. If I can get a thumbs up when y'all can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to briefly go through the committees tab of our website. And this shows all the different committees, which we've added a few different committees over the last couple of years that you may not be familiar with. So I'm going to bring in some of our board members. Feel free to come off mute, turn your camera on whenever I call you out, and they're going to kind of talk through some of these committees. So The first one, we'll have Jenny Gurley, our Professional Development Officer, talk about the Professional Development Committees.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenny Gurley, as Chris said, and I'm the Professional Development Officer. I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and talk to you about the different opportunities to get involved and engaged within professional development. As many are aware, we are the leads for planning our annual professional development conference that goes right up against the Nuclear Energy Assembly. So a plug that we do have our conference coming up in June, and if you have not registered, please go and take the opportunity to register and recommend to your fellow chapter members that as well. This year it is a little bit different being virtual in that we're having a few hours of programming that'll go right before the NEA programming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, June 7th through 9th. But we will have our awards, we have our professional development topic, and also a keynote speaker as well. So with that being said, there's always an opportunity every year to get involved and engaged in planning the national conference. And the intention is for next year for that to be an in-person conference. Other ways that we get involved is serve as a means to support the regional conferences. So whether that's providing idea support or resources, whatever it may be, we also are involved and engaged in helping those conferences go off without any issue and be a successful event for our regions to get together and develop and network and learn. Other items that we have within professional development fall in what we call the virtual PD committee. And that committee really promotes our webinars as well, along with other events. But we rebranded that last year when we went to everyone really being remote because we are gathering together to do virtual events, whether it is a book club on a specific book, or we've had some diversity themed topics that we've discussed, articles that we've discussed, TED Talks, or we're picking a specific technical topic or professional topic to bring into our virtual PD offerings. And again, that covers webinars as well. And then the last thing that I'll talk about today is knowledge transfer efforts. This really is specific to any topics that we want to more broadly share from a knowledge transfer perspective. So we're always looking for ideas, input, and content from our members for what we can help share with others in the industry in the form of knowledge transfer. And that's all I have for now, pending any questions.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Jenny. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amanda next to talk about public information and the committees that we have there. So Amanda Lang, if you want to take it away. No. Let me share back, sorry. Amanda, are you going to share your screen? All right, we may not have Amanda. I'll jump in and share.
I can see her screen, but I can't hear her.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
can't hear her either.
My apologies. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm Amanda Lang. I'm the Public Information Chair for a little bit longer here. And so part of all of what we do in public information is try to engage people outside the organization. So there's a variety of different audiences, but before we get going, Matt inspired me when he said that we were formed in 1999. So since this is the engagement webinar, we're going to have a little musical break. I'm going to play a song, a top hit from 1999. And now I want you to type in the chat if you know the name of the song and then why I picked it.
We can see the songs up on your screen though. Is that your intention?
You can see the song.
Yeah.
How can you see it?
What's your Google search?
Oh, why can't you see my, oh, I thought I was sharing screen. It's Living La Vida Loca. Can you reshare or stop sharing? I thought I was sharing my public information one, so my apologies. It's Living La Vida Loca, and Loca, does anybody know what a loca is? It's a loss of coolant accident. Okay, cool. So public information. I was going to start with our committee team. So Christy Fletcher is our government outreach lead. Chris Chance, who you guys all met, he's the student outreach lead. Chris Slaughter supports video content and legislative affairs. Niv Sabiri is also an committee member, and Josh Wheeler is our communication support. So if you, can you click on the student outreach one?
Sure thing.
Epic. Okay. So student outreach, we focus on essay contest, drawing contest, and just trying to get people into the classrooms. So our drawing contest is live right now. So please, if you haven't yet, check out those resources that Chris put together. The contest is open until June. The essay contest has already closed for this year, so I believe it was, or well, sorry, it is closed for this school year. So it wrapped up in December, but you can check out the winning essay contests. We also have some historical items if you want to look at previous winners of contests. Now, if you keep scrolling down, there should be some resources. Yeah, I was looking for classroom curriculum. So this has a variety of topics, you know, kind of energy portfolios, all the different types of energy, energy and the impact on the environment, careers, atoms, you know, even the concept of E equals MC squared, some radiation basics, nuclear applications beyond just energy. So talking about medicine, talking about space exploration, that kind of thing. So these are all taught to educational standards, so you can go in there and hopefully find what you need. There's also a library that Matt alluded to, and there's a cool video at the bottom. Chris Slaughter put that together. So check out all those resources. So if you go up just a little bit, if you do the library of presentations, click here, that'll take you to that list that you saw Matt Myringer kind of blow through real quick. But yeah, that's kind of student outreach in general. So can you hop over to our government outreach? All right, so government outreach. So what we're trying to do here is get our members to interact with politicians. So this kind of started as a postcard push day. We send out several thousand postcards during Nuclear Science Week, which is October of every year. We also do, when we can visit in person, Washington, D.C., we organize a Hill Day. So we go and in person talk to people. Now, Canada also has some events, not quite the same. They do participate in Postcard Push, but they also are very involved in testifying when there's like a policy or the, sorry, I'm losing the words, when it's hearing. And so they've been very involved in that. Okay, so maybe scroll down. Let's see what we got here. Some cool articles. Christy is who you want to talk to. We've converted to doing virtual postcards. And you can also, there's some forms to send a letter. The Powering Us Through the Pandemic was the gift for this year. So again, you can share that. The goal was to share it in October, but please use that GIF and post it and tag your legislators. The next step we are taking is the take action. So now, Chris, could you click on take action in the, it's in the blue bar in the middle, yeah.
You're gonna have to bear with my internet. I am so.
I apologize. Well, I'm so embarrassed after this look at the beginning. I thought this whole time you guys were staring at the public information page and I was gonna like this whole, oh man, really stealing my thunder here. Okay, so this is take action. So we really want to get some momentum here. There's only 2 right now, but our first one is lower down. So that's the welcome your elected officials to Congress. I'm sure they would appreciate a welcome letter, even though they've been there a couple months. So it is super easy. You just click that button, and then the program will find you by your address, who you need to talk to, and it sends it. You can personalize it if you want, but we have language in there. Support the Clean Future Act. That's something hopefully everybody can take action on that. And what we want is to see engagement, and what really matters are numbers, right? So we would really appreciate it if you guys would send this yourself, but then you would get a couple coworkers or friends or family members or your dog, you know, whatever, somebody to send these. So that's kind of what we're hoping, and watch for more. We will stay active on this front. We have a monthly meeting to discuss policy and which bills we want to support. We also have a monthly meeting with everybody on the PI team. So I think that kind of covers it all. Can you go back to the PI splash page?
Yep, I think you got it all.
Yeah, so literacy, we do have, just so everyone's aware, 2 children's books. So those resources are there. And then just some advocacy resources in general. So
Amanda, do you have any of those books if people are looking for some?
We do. Let me know if you want a copy. The ebooks are free, so that's the logistically the easiest. Otherwise, I need to go locate them and then mail them to you. So then we'd have to charge you postage. But
All right. Well, thanks, Amanda.
sure thing.
All right. So we're going to roll on to the communications committees now. So I am going to turn it over to Paul Balick, who's our communications officer, and he will talk about the communications committee. So Paul.
All right, thanks, Chris. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great. Can see you there too.
All right, awesome. Okay, so yeah, we'll go through the communications committees, as Chris alluded to, and just kind of scroll through here. First, talking about the digital committee. So just a little higher up, there you go. So all things related to the website. So everything you're seeing that's been shown so far has all been curated and created by the digital team. So if you have some ideas on how the website could be improved, or some new ideas on what else we could add or make better, the digital committee would be definitely for you. If you're looking to expand your knowledge of just how websites are built, it's a great opportunity to get in there as well. Before I was in this role, I had no idea, but now I would say I am a above average novice at website design. We use WordPress and a few plugins to make this all happen. And it's actually, what we use is pretty intuitive too. So you actually don't need to know any code at all to manage our website. It's all through a handful of features that we have available to us. A lot of it is actually free, which is even better. The digital committee also works with our hosting provider. Their name is Zuul, Z-U-U-L. They're a Canadian-based company. And we work with them monthly really on just kind of website health and any other miscellaneous tasks we may need that are really beyond our knowledge base as volunteers. So they've been a great supporter of the website, helped migrate the website to its state from its previous one to its new state at the beginning of the year, and really have been a good partner for us. So that's really what the digital team's meant to do, and really just make sure NAYGN is recognized as a leader and not just advocacy and all things professional development, but how we present ourselves internally to nuclear and externally as well. And the website's a very important feature of that. Okay, moving on to the next committee, social media. So we have a bunch of different platforms that Matt talked about on the during when he was reviewing the homepage. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Manage all those platforms through the social media team. And, we're making sure we're producing and getting out content that's relevant for our members and also just for the general public. We use a tool, a social media planning tool called Hootsuite, Hoot like the owl. And what it does, it kind of consolidates all of our views into one single platform. So we can actually link all of those separate platforms into one tool and schedule and manage posts, respond to comments, have different streams of things maybe we're tracking like hashtags or specific followers that we are prominent in the industry, and can manage all of that within one tool, which is pretty sweet. And that's actually a newer feature for us in the social media team. So just like the website design, I wasn't a super big social media person in the past, but really see the value in good social media content, making sure that you have relevant content for everyone and making sure you're representing your organization well as best you can. So that's what the social media team's goals are and what we try to do with our planning. Next one, scroll down, awards. So this is a big one. Awards is responsible for our national awards. So anyone who nominated their chapter or a member for an award will be recognized. The winners will be recognized at the national conference this year, and we do those national awards annually, recognizing those top chapters and participants and members of NAYGN. But we also give out quarterly excellence awards. So anyone doing something extraordinary within a quarter of the year can be nominated for an excellence award, and we highlight those through our social media and then also through giving the award winners a certificate of winning that excellence award. And our last committee under communications is publications. So this committee is responsible for our newsletters that if you subscribe to or a member of the website, you would receive. And then also responsible for getting content on the website, whether it be blog posts or articles or managing any types of letters that we may sign on to as an organization or different types of announcements that we make as an organization. So just ways to externally communicate beyond just our social platforms. And really there's opportunities abound for all of these. I think, from me being involved as communications officer, I've really learned a ton, got out of my comfort zone too, by all of these different committees. They're all pretty diverse in what you can take away. And there's a spot for you, I can guarantee it, if you're interested. And if it's just learning more or actually doing something, you would certainly be a good person to fit into the comms organization and committees we have. Okay, that's all I got, Chris.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Paul. Quick question for you. How's our TikTok account coming?
Oh man. I asked Matt. He's our TikTok expert. He's got the content. I know. I think he's working on some type of uranium-235 dance at the moment.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so the last section we have is our organizational committees, and there's quite a few listed on here, and we're just going to talk about 3 of them, and then we're going to talk about some chapter leads and regional lead activities. So first, I'll have Monica, our vice president, talk about the benchmarking committee and the sponsorship committee.
All right. So our sponsorship committee, I'll start. All right, I'll go to benchmarking. Thanks, Chris.
Sorry, I think there's a delay.
Okay. All right, sponsorship committee. So all of these events that we host, unfortunately, are not free. So we have a pretty large budget, couple $100,000, and to be a sustainable organization, we need to get that funding from somewhere. So many of our companies that you are employees for are sponsors of NAYGN. The sponsorship committee is responsible for reaching out to those different companies and asking them for their financial support. For some people, this is a somewhat uncomfortable skill set, learning how to ask people for money, but it's one that's very valuable and you can use in other nonprofits and other places in your life as well. So I think it's a valuable skill set. If you're currently not comfortable with asking for money, learning how to do so is a very valuable skill set to learn. So our sponsorship committee reaches out to those different companies. They verify the amounts that those companies would like to sponsor at, and then they help with collecting the finances from those companies to help us make our activities and our organization sustainable. And then the next committee there is benchmarking. So benchmarking is a biannual committee, and it's really focused on gathering data from our members. So the benchmarking committee every other year creates a survey that gets sent out to our members, asking our members all types of information from demographics to salary information, current position, job satisfaction, even down to training and professional development wants and needs. And from that information is how we really drive the organization and take it the way that we want to take it. The LEAD program, for example, was built off of information from the benchmarking committee. The members themselves said, we want more leadership training, we want more communications training, and that information has been used to create a program that we can provide back to you, utilizing those funds from our sponsorship committee. So benchmarking committee will be kicked off in a couple months by Amanda, our incoming vice president, and once the election's finalized. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Monica. And so next, I'm going to kick it off to Ashley Lawrence, who's our USA operations officer. And she's going to talk about our newest committee, first of all, which is diversity inclusion. And then she'll also talk about local chapter leads and regional leads. Ashley, you want to?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Christopher. So our diversity and inclusion committee, i.e. the D&I committee, is our newly formed committee. It was formed in 2020 to help address NAYGN's diversity gaps identified in our 2020 career report, and of course to make our organization more diverse and inclusive. So some of the responsibilities of the committee members are developing actions, initiatives based on input from the committee and our organization, provide updates to the core and our members on D&I initiatives that we're working towards, and identifying and communicating areas of concern or opportunities for improvement within the D&I committee. So currently the D&I committee is working on the presentation for the D&I session at our upcoming NAYGN conference, amongst other initiatives. So the D&I committee lead is Sarah Davis, and the NAYGN core sponsor is our past president, Lee Causey. And local chapter leads and region leads, they're not necessarily a committee, but they are an important part of our organization. So anyone can be an LCL or a region lead. LCLs are the liaison between the chapter members and our core, and our region leads are the liaison between our 8 regions and the core. They help communicate important information to all members and ensure that our members and regions have what they need to be successful. So the LCLs are appointed and voted by the local chapters, and the region leads are appointed by our operating officers. And the core sponsors for the LCLs and region leads are the US and Canadian operating officers. So anyone can join both the D&I committee, and if you'd like to be an LCL, be sure to get involved with your local chapters. All right, back to you, Chris.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. And the last committee actually that we will talk about is going to be the engagement committee, which is the committee that's hosting this webinar today. And we actually have Elizabeth Smith, who I will turn it over to now, and she will talk about the engagement committee. Elizabeth?
Appreciate that. Give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I am one of the members of the engagement committee. It's normally sponsored by either the VP or the president of the NAYGN board. And Christopher Chance and Matt Maringer are also pretty active on here as well with the engagement committee. So what exactly do we do? What are our roles? What are our responsibilities? So our goal of the engagement committee is to develop actions and initiatives that we get feedback from across the organization, identifying groups, potential members for the committee or for other committees to go after targeted campaigns, and design promotional information that will help members. We provide kind of general guidance. We kind of try to keep our thumb on the heartbeat of the organization. And so when something gets mentioned a couple of times, we go to the core and we're like, hey, this got mentioned a couple of times. We probably want to look into it. The local chapters are talking about this particular issue. We need to come up with a plan to go execute. And so oftentimes we're the one that initially looks at the problem, and then if it's something that needs to be passed to a different committee because it's more their area, then we pass it off. Otherwise, we'll take it and solve the problem ourselves. So we give periodic updates, and then we just kind of identify communication areas of concern, opportunities for improvement inside both the core and then the membership as a whole. And then our goal is to stay engaged with the organization. So some of the initiatives that we have going right now are membership leadership. So we're trying to really make sure that members have everything that they need, specifically starting with LCLs, but also want to make sure that the members themselves understand how they can be engaged, specifically with all of the different committee opportunities on the international level. You don't have to be an LCL in order to participate on any of the international committees. In fact, a lot of them aren't actually LCLs that serve on the committees. So this is kind of a plug for getting more involved there. That was kind of more point 4 starting, but whatever. So we are in the process of creating different job aids and handouts, some of which have been completed and will be sent out at the end when we finish up with this webinar for how to create chapter committees, how to engage your members and get them to participate in events. We are working on creating a co-op between different LCL chapters, between strengths and weaknesses, and setting up like a mentorship program. So chapters that do really well in something can help chapters that maybe are just getting started, and vice versa. And then we're creating job aids for getting funding for specific events that you're trying to do with your chapters. Some companies will provide that from the site or the corporate budget. So it's just how to go about getting that information and how to go about asking for it. And then we're just creating like different committee pamphlets. And then our goal is to host webinars so that you understand better who the core members are and then how they function and operate. And then one of the things that we've been really pushing for is information sharing. So how to plan an event and then showcasing the best practices from across the fleet, communicating different membership locations for information, such as like social media, the newsletter, different things like that, making sure that's being utilized properly. Obviously, you've heard it mentioned multiple times, we're trying to get TikTok off. So if you're interested in TikTok, please let us know so we can put some fun stuff together. And then we also do the new core webinars once the members are announced after the elections end. And then our third goal is building a reputation for appreciation. So there's already a semblance of a welcome email that gets sent out when you sign up as a member, but we want to build on that and make it more of something that comes directly from multiple sources, especially letting the local chapter leads for those members know they have a new member that has signed up so that they can reach out to that individual and thank them for joining the international organization. And then we're working with the operating officers on that information as well. What do they do with new members and new local chapter leads, and how can we join with them in welcoming them and making sure that they have all the tools and resources that they need. And then our plan is to host a workshop on appreciation, just some how-tos on how to do little things like thank you notes and whatnot for your membership participating in events, because this is all volunteer. None of us are getting paid for any of this. And so sometimes that thank you note and recognition of going above and beyond makes a huge difference. So we're trying to work on that. And then we're also going to focus on more region level focused recognition. So, you know, we talk a lot about the individual awards for the quarter. The name escapes me at the moment. And what we were talking about is the idea of encouraging that more on a region level. So when we come up for the individual promotions for the quarterly on the international, we already have names being populated for that kind of thing. So that's our kind of focus areas and initiatives that we've got going right now and kind of the ways in which we're going after them. We also need committee members. If you guys are at all interested in serving on the committee, we would love to have you. And then I just wanted to briefly go over some of the things that we have accomplished as an engagement committee since we were created. And so we have created brochures, which Matt mentioned on the website where they're located, where you can go and pull them and edit them for your own use. So on how to start a chapter, sponsoring ships for both U.S. and Canadian chapters, and who NAYGN and why you should care. We've hosted webinars, Quirks of the Core, and this current one, Engagement Committee, and we'll continue to host webinars throughout the rest of the year. We've created job aids for how to create chapter committees and better engagement with members. And then we've also worked on introduction to NAYGN PowerPoint, updated new member sign up on the website and made it a lot more streamlined, less questions, super simple template for you to get signed up as a member. We've cleaned up the member database. We have made contests for best practices and created raffles, and then we have a website location for said content. And then we're helping create, we were a huge part of the calendar of events that is now on the current website as it now stands. And so that was a huge push for us. And then we also sent out the Pulse survey on trying to figure out how different chapters received funding so that we could put together the best information into our brochure about how to get funding for your chapter. And that's it. Please join the engagement committee.
All right, thank you so much. And Amber, did you have any final comments before we finish the meeting?
Sorry, it took a moment to want to be happy. No, just wanted to say thank you to the engagement committee. I know, you know, we had started down a good road and then kind of the pandemic hit, and I'm really excited to have this committee back together and doing good work for the organization. We definitely encourage your ideas. So if you have something you think that needs improvement that we can help, you know, the chapters, the chapter leads, our membership, you know, feel free to send an email to engagement@naygn.org, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. And obviously, if you are interested in joining the committee and making a difference, get a hold of us, let us know. We will welcome you with open arms. That's all I had.
On that note, Amber, my chapter tried to do like a virtual cookie decorating contest. So I thought it was a super cute idea. We only had a handful of people actually call in. So I was just wondering if you guys could either put on your video and come off mute and give us some ideas. But, you know, do you have an idea for a creative event, or what's the event at your chapter that has had the most participants?
That sounds fun. So let's hear your ideas.
And we're also opening it up if anyone has questions for the engagement committee, anything you've heard, any suggestions, anything you're like, oh my gosh, this is broken. I wish some group or committee could fix it. You know, this is the time to vent, to share suggestions, best practices. Open floor, guys.
This is the engaging part.
Well, I got a question for Jenny, maybe on the I guess the webinar committee. Do y'all have any webinars planned coming up that other people may be looking at doing or helping with?
Yes, great question. So we do have a webinar scheduled for the next week, actually. I'm pulling up my calendar because I don't have the date right in front of me. It is scheduled for next Wednesday, May 26th. And that will be at noon, and it will be with Xcel Energy. We're going to hear a little bit about what they're doing with hydrogen production. So that is scheduled for next Wednesday, again at noon Eastern Standard Time. And then after the conference, we're in the planning stages for another webinar related to innovation efforts in the industry and more like innovation efforts at the individual contributor level instead of more organizational focused. And we're looking at that covering 3 different utility perspectives for that webinar. So more to come on that once we're finalizing the date.
Awesome.
Hey,
Appreciate
this
it.
is Michael Young from Xcel Energy. I can just speak to, we have Dan Ludwig giving that presentation, and
Okay.
we've already given it internally, and it's a really good presentation. There's a lot of great information there about, you know, how we plan to produce the hydrogen, what we plan to do with it, and the challenges the project has faced. So it's a really great presentation, and I'd encourage, you know, getting that out to your local chapters again to come and hear it.
Thanks for sharing that, Michael. I'm excited about it.
I have one for Monica. For the benchmarking committee, could you kind of share what the next steps are? Like, is it coming up this year? What's it look like? Because I know it comes out every 2 years. So what's that going to look like for the benchmarking committee?
So I'm actually going to turn that over to Amber. She was the last person involved with the last career report. Unfortunately, I fell in the middle year where I didn't have to create a report, so she'd be the best person to answer that one.
Thanks for throwing me under, Monica. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so the benchmarking committee should get revitalized and resurrected here shortly after we announce our new board members. So the incoming vice president will own that committee and we'll get a team started. So we are pushing hard for members to join that committee. So you'll start seeing some correspondences about that, as well as some requests, you know, through the conference and things like that to get members. We do need to have a strong committee so we can have as good a report as we had 2 years ago. So please, if that's something that interests you, you can reach out to benchmarking@naygn.org. Thank you.
Just trying to go off a video, but for my chapter, we do once every month a video lunch chat. And so we actually just had one today at noon, and we played a game where we had to ask each other questions. I think my question was if I'd rather live without fruit or without bread, and then people have to guess if I like bread or fruit more. And we had like 20 people come, and we invited all the interns, and they got to get to know us with weird facts like that. And they worked pretty well. So we'll see what we do once we go back to the office in July, but we might continue them in person.
And you said y'all are monthly or weekly?
Oh, last March we were doing them weekly, and then people weren't coming as often because it was a weekly occurrence. So we've been starting doing them monthlies for probably since last summer.
Awesome. Cool.
Amanda, Paul's made a music request.
I'm questioning it. I meant like a nuclear related, like Ring of Fire. That's a core design term.
Genie in a bottle is, you know, just as relevant.
Is it?
Yeah,
Please
you gotta
explain.
put the fuel into the core. So we want the, you know, then you gotta take it out. So it's the genie coming out of the bottle.
Steam in a bottle.
Oh, so like hokey pokey?
Yeah.
put an assembly in, turn it around, take it out.
Uh-huh.
Try not to shake it about.
Exactly.
Okay, so I hear no more questions from anyone. So if you guys have questions outside of this, please reach out to engagement@naygn.org. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Chris, Elizabeth, and the whole engagement team for putting this together. And really, we will record this and share this on our website. So if you missed it, or if you have others that you want to share it with, we're going to make sure that this is available, because that's part of our legacy is creating a library and making this easier for you guys. So thank you all, and I'll see you guys at the Bahamas.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.